Something pretty shocking on or around May 4th. This is when a shocking video is going to start making the rounds, it seems, early May. Virgo is a worker and has some kind of shocking video that they're handing over. Welcome to Astrology and Crime, to my valedictorians. Nice to see you tonight. Welcome to another edition of the P. Diddy saga. Music mogul Sean Combs has been fighting for the last month to get out of jail, which has been described by him and his lawyers as pure hell. And he's got his legal team working right now. He's added 2 lawyers, and it is probably one of the most publicized cases in recent times. We are talking about a very long period of crime being committed as alleged by New York State. So we have these 2 additional lawyers that we're going to talk about tonight, but the main objective is to look at the May 5th court date to see what kind of clues we can get regarding the direction of this case, what kind of storylines are going to come out. Now, this, of course, is all happening because so many reports have surfaced that there was unconscionable physical and mental abuse committed by P. Diddy Combs towards women and men, and especially during these periods of what is called P. Diddy's freak-offs at his home. So that's the center of the case, but there might be additional charges coming. And so we're going to look a little bit at that. There are some salacious details. It's just too much. It's too much information, and we're getting it all, and it's in a flood. So he apparently, P. Diddy, is waking up at 6 a.m. now and having his horrendous meals. Interesting that he would be talking about food, because Taurus is really going to be mentioned here, Taurus themes. So food would be one, banking would be another. We've got a new lawyer. I believe we'll get into that. I think it's Sam Bankman that is coming in, and who used to clerk for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So this is going to be a big, big fight. But can P. Diddy withhold the information that he has, or will it all come out? All right, so let's get on to the first chart. And of course, we're looking at, well, first, I wanted to mention my books, of course, Secret Career Code and Forensic Astrology 101. And definitely follow me on Val Evans Astro on Instagram. And definitely check out the Diddy Aftermath video. The first thing I wanted to look at before we look at Diddy's chart is R. Kelly's birth chart. I don't have it rectified, but you can see that there is a long jail sentence. I believe he's doing 50 years, and just a pretty awful series of events in his life, and that he caused. And you can see a T-square here, and Saturn in Pisces. This is a long jail term. Pisces is jail, incarceration, 12th house matters. And with Saturn and Moon, this is being alone. So he will definitely be, I don't know if he's going to do all 50 years, but there is a very, very long period of time here. And what does Pluto mean? It means sex, and with Uranus, shocking sex. So this is all just, it just fell on him like a ton of bricks. It took a little while, though, for both individuals, both R. Kelly and allegedly Sean Combs. So when you got a lot of money, you can hide in plain sight. Now, here is P. Diddy's chart. This is really interesting here. We have him, I have him as a sun in Scorpio, but also a Leo rising. And you can see here's Saturn again. Very interesting. It's in Taurus. So this is going to definitely be activated when it comes to being in the public eye, especially with the 10th house. It's also interesting what's happening right now. If you've looked on social media, some of Sean Combs's Instagrams and reels are popping up where he's cooking food. So food, Taurus, money, really coming in strong. And it definitely looks that like, and I said in the past show, that this is karma. Saturn is a karma planet. And not only is there an opposition to him, putting him really down there in the fourth house of Scorpio, it's kind of like he goes to the basement. That's what Scorpio represents. And he, how long is he going to be there? Oh, he's going to be there a long, long, long time, it seems, from this chart. Now, the other thing too is he has, it's really, for anybody who has a chart like this, challenges, very, very difficult. Not to say that, I'm empathetic at all, but this is a T square here, and can show that if he wants to activate this Black Moon Lilith, which is nefarious, depraved, just bad energy, he is going to be in jail for a long time. So there's Saturn again squaring a planet in the 12th house. But with Mars right here, this shows that he's going to be a lot more angry than R. Kelly. And it seems as if he is going to fight hard. The problem with Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius, is that it can show that there will be thoughts of suicide or suicidal themes that have to do with Sean Combs. All right, so here is his, it looks a little messy, but the visual is important. We have the transit progressed birth chart. Now, this is for right now. Notice that we have the second house of Taurus here, and we have the eighth house, and that looks like a big mess. It looks like blood is being shed. And so you can see there's this big, big red line. It's basically, it's just crossing out. So what would that mean? Well, the second house is money. And the eighth house can be anywhere from loans, not being able to get loans. It can also show other people's money and even murder. That is a theme that's coming up now because there might be additional charges for Sean P. Diddy Combs. Now, another thing that could possibly be happening is that people are trying to get into his finances and take a look around, which of course he does not want. And so the second house is ruled by Virgo. So this right now, he's probably still maybe making some money from his clothing line. It's probably shut down at this point, but this is definitely clothing. And Mercury is right here in Scorpio. So there is money that is being made. However, there's so many expenses coming in. The one good thing for him is that Saturn in Pisces with Mars is a lawyer that fights. And so because of the blue line, which is the trine from his sun, which is basically him and his body, it's trining Saturn. So this is probably easy communication with the lawyer, being able to add to a dream team. The sun, like I said, is his rising sign. And we've also got the third house too, opposition. This is all in Libra. Now, notice that Black Moon Lilith is moving through the third house. And this is just what one is talking about. This is the bad part of Libra. This is the bad musician. Everyone is talking about the bad boy. And, when they tell you what their name is, believe them because that's what his symbol would be. Sean Diddy Combs hires his jailmate, Sam Bankman Fried's lawyer, a former clerk for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Notice Bankman and also Fried. So Taurus there. Okay, this is his transit progressed in 2020. I wanted to show you something that's really interesting. Notice where, now this is 2020, so this was 4 years ago. And this is really like he's able in his mind to do whatever he wants. So we have Pluto right here on the ascendant, and Pluto is scorpionic things, wanting to do things underground. Those depraved sexual things, and he's able to do them. He's able to do them a lot, and it's in the fourth house of his home. So he is obsessed with thinking about, these thoughts. And you could see with Capricorn, it would be, maybe in the Black community, he would be known for this. So we want to look at Mercury. Mercury is the chart ruler, and Mercury is conjunct Pluto. Now, the orange planets are on your chart and my chart, just like on his chart, but they activate differently on his progressed planet. So if you really want to see where you are right now in your life, go to your transit progressed chart. And so for around 2020, I mean, it seemed like he was doing great because he just wanted to be in the home. And Pluto would be right on his Mercury, meaning an obsession, an absolute obsession. So now I wanted to go to 2024. Actually, yeah. So in around 1997, I think it is. Actually, I want to say it was 2000. Pluto was right here. It was about to start in his fourth house. So what we're really seeing is someone who is having their Pluto move through their fourth house. It's a long period of time. It's an outer planet. So this was really transforming his home and transforming it in a way that was very secretive, lots of sexual type of activities, and also, Pluto can also mean murder. So there's at 2020 though, it looked okay because of that trine. Now let's see what it looks like in 2024. Now it's really basically conjunct Mercury, but now there's some problems. We have Pluto suddenly, I mean, this is crazy, the visual for this, because what does Saturn mean? Saturn represents to stop. And so Saturn finally stops it with this Pluto here. So there's, everything stopped when it comes to anything that has to do with his home and all of that activity. But Pluto is eventually going to be moving forward and coming out of that square. So it might be a little bit different environment for him. Now, to make matters worse, we have a T-square. So, when you want to look at where your life might be stuck, you look for the T-squares. And the apex of the T-square is usually the culprit, the problem. And with Pluto, it's extreme. And squaring Saturn, it is an extreme, basically, stop. It is a hard stop. And we saw that with R. Kelly in that T-square that he has. He has Saturn squaring Pluto. So a little bit similar here, a little bit similar. And the other side of this is Jupiter and at this point, a transiting Mercury, but it's really Jupiter that is in a long-term type of aspect here. So there it goes, the T-square. A little bit nuts. Transit Saturn is also transiting through his sixth house, and it is opposing the moon. So this is death row. Remember that he's the head of his record company, but we also have Bad Boy Entertainment, but we also have themes of Death Row. So, which was, another record company, but still there's a lot of talk about that. And I shouldn't say record anymore. I don't know what they call it, but so Saturn opposed Moon. Saturn is the mortal enemy of his moon, and so he's in there, and he's extremely depressed, like as depressed as it gets, and that's as Saturn moves back and forth here. He's stuck. He's basically stuck, and that can happen to anyone. In different circumstances, whatever it is that you're stuck in, and Saturn has to move out, and it takes many months for that to happen. It's interesting, as Saturn moves forward, it is going to come out of that opposition there. So he will be able to at least get out and go to the courtroom. Okay. So this is P. Diddy's 2024-25 solar return chart. This starts November 4th. Happy birthday, right? And so interesting. The way I rectified his chart would be Scorpio, a Scorpio rising. So in your solar return chart, your ascendant's going to change every year, and it's going to reflect how people see you that particular year. It's going to change again, but at least this year, people are seeing him as a Scorpio. Could be, maybe some people are calling him a murderer. But it also shows on the other side that there's betrayal energy, and he will be feeling betrayed this year. Not all the time, but usually it is a switch where somebody switches and you were not expecting someone to come out and say something. Now, Pluto represents his chart for the year, and in an opposition with the Mars is so reflective of what is going on with him. And the way that I rectified his chart was 11 p.m. On his birth date. So, and that would be November 4th. I think it's 1969. Now, with this fight, you can see it is extreme. It is the biggest fight he's ever had. And so there is actually some things that are happening for him that are more positive, and that is his family. His family is there. His family is talking to him and supporting him. So that would be that representative of that big blue triangle or grand trine. Fifth house is instrumental for him. He's got a little baby, which is Mercury. So he's hearing about the baby, and, it's, it actually might, because it's pointed up to the ninth house, people are going to keep that in mind. I think his family is going to come out and help him somehow, help him fight his battle. So then the second house is going to be December 4th to January 4th. And this is where he's got to pony up a lot of money. And you can see that opposition here straight to that second house. Ouch, that is financial. Venus is very, very large amounts of money in the second house, and it's too big because of the opposition to Jupiter. And the other thing too, there's a possibility that this is a judge here, and that there's no possibility to use money to, it seems like there's going to be some kind of scheme to get to buy himself out of jail. And that would be this, he wants to do like a John Gotti type of thing. And why not? Because it's Scorpio. Scorpio is mafia. So there's a possibility here that the judge that is assigned the case, whoever it is going to potentially hear from his people. It could affect it. It could affect this case, I think. So And something pretty big's happening, I would say, between January 4th and February 4th. Now, remember that Pluto is murder, and this looks very dangerous to me. This could be a person, a bully that's in jail, and very possible that that he's going to have some issues coming up, and there could be the ninth house is also the press. So something in the press is coming out, could have a murder theme to it, that maybe the charges are changing against him. Pluto is to change. And when you have an opposition to Pluto, that often shows that something, it's an uncomfortable change. It's a change that you do not want. So that's in there. And then February 4th to March 4th would be his fourth house. Lots of home concerns, and also something pretty big here. Somebody is talking to him from home and helping him in some way. But at the same time, and this could actually happen at the end of November, there might be a death. There might be two deaths between November 1st, or no, between November 4th and March 4th. It looks like P. Diddy is going to be in the news with potentially two people who pass. And the reason I say that is because December 4th, Saturn moon. So you can see that red line right here. And then February 4th comes around, and then Saturn moon again. Now, this could be a famous female that has something to do with that, because Venus is female and the moon is fame. So not sure who that is, but these people are fearful. There is definitely a female, and she could be coming out and says maybe she's being threatened, or there's some reason for being extremely, extremely in fear. So that's what that Saturn is. Saturn's also going to show the lawyer. So Saturn retrograde shows that it's possible that the lawyer might be good, but he doesn't have much of a case, and there's a possibility he's going to let one of the lawyers go, or one of the lawyers will pass of something. But definitely looks like there's a few deaths in here that are going to set him back. And with it being in the second house, there's a possibility that some of that could be, have something to do with a payment of some sort, because second house is money. We will see. And that's pretty much all I have for today. Hey, Lisa James, how are you? I was just going over all of the charts and just went through some of the solar return chart. Got this on members, so it's a very small group. But when it's a provocative title, I tend to want to keep it in the members. So, but you'll have to back up the video and let me know what you think. Hey, TJ. And I'll go back a little bit since you guys are just coming on. I just finished up, but glad you could come on and join me. Yeah. Why don't you start from the beginning and see what you think? But definitely notice that Plutonian, and you can look at this in your own chart as well. You can see that when Pluto starts moving through, I know, TJ, that's good. It's not so late here. It's not 9 yet, but, oh, you were just catching me late, right? Yeah, late in the video. But the thing about this whole thing is really Pluto. Pluto is, it represents him, and it's going to represent him especially this year because he's a Scorpio rising in his solar return chart. And so everybody's going to look at him as if he is the representative of Scorpio. And Scorpio means murder. Scorpio means mafia. Scorpio means secrets. It means sex. It means freak offs. And The problem with that is that he is in danger. I really do think that he's in danger. I think that P. Diddy could come to harm between January 4th and February 4th, especially. It just looks like there is somebody, it could be a foreign man that that really tries to harm him. So he has to be very, very careful. Yes, Lisa James, I just put it on members. So, and I didn't really promote it very well, but I just wanted to give you those slides to take a look at. And then tomorrow I'm going to be, I've got a show, I've got two shows. I've got Meghan Markle in the afternoon, and they also have Brian Koberger in his new chart, new court date chart. And so I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. So, so I hope you can join me. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and I'll see you tomorrow.